Today in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 tips that you can use to make your side hustle your full-time job. And we're starting right now. To the channel, I'm Erastus from Garment Creations, and on this channel you will find tips and tricks to amplify your t-shirt business. So if you're new here, go ahead, subscribe, check out all the videos we have that will help you amplify your t-shirt business. How did I manage to turn my side hustle into my full-time job? I recently posted a video that stated that I quit my job to work in my business. Quit my job to work for myself. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out on this channel. I'll link it up in the description below. So this video here is about how you can take your side hustle into your full-time business. There's 5 tips that I use. So tip number 1 to take your side hustle into a full-time business is learn to find time. Even when it seems like you don't have time, learn to find time. Most people that work their full-time jobs and have a side hustle, they're working their side hustles when they get off of work. So that's what I did for the longest. I had a full-time job of which I was working 9 to 5 and getting home by 7 p.m. And then I was able to work on my side business, my side hustle. The first point I would tell anybody is to make time. Make time for your side hustle. And by making time, that don't mean you should cramp up all this extra activities into your busy schedule already. What you need to do is to subtract things that is not making any value to your life, that you're not even growing from. You need to subtract those activities out of your busy schedules and make time for your side hustle. So that's what I did. All the things that I was doing, like watching TV, hanging out with friends outside, I had to stop doing that when I got off of work and put that time into growing my side hustle. So tip number 1 again is learn how to find time to grow your side hustle. And don't say you don't have time, because trust me, there is a lot of time that you can be putting into yourself instead of just hanging out there doing nothing. So tip number 2, only take on projects that's worth the time. When you start a side hustle, you think it's okay to say yes to everything and just work, cramping it into the busy schedule to do everything that you can just because you think you have a little bit of time now. So when somebody say, hey, can you do this? You say yes, yes, yes. I learned that the hard way. That's basically even how I started my business. I started the side hustles by just saying yes to a thing that I had no idea how to do. But eventually you can't always say yes to everything, especially if you're trying to focus on one thing, being that side hustle. Okay, so learn to only take on things that's worth the time. If it's gonna take you a lot of time and you got other projects that you know you can do, just focus on those projects that's worth the time. So tip number 3 is to focus in on one skill. Focus in on one skill. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I was trying to figure out what type of side hustle I wanted to do, was it photography, was it videography? There's so many other side hustles that I tried, and I just kept on putting my hands into a whole bunch of things because I wanted to find something. So eventually when I focused on one thing, I was able to grow in that. The idea of focusing on one thing instead of many, there's 2 reasons there why it could be confusing. The first tip here is if you're focusing on so many different side hustles, people don't know exactly what you do. Nobody knows what you do. Are you a photographer? Because they always see you with a camera. Okay, are you a handyman? Because they see you always fixing things. Are you a t-shirt guy? Because you're always talking about t-shirts. So focus on that one thing that is going to be able to grow. So the second reason why you need to focus in on one thing is because your time is valuable. We've already talked about how you need to find time. If you're focusing your time, if you're investing time in so many different things, it's going to take you twice as long, 3 times as long to really focus to learn this one thing good enough. So it's important that you focus in on one thing, because your time is a very, 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 very big investment. And if you focus that time down to one thing, you will be able to take your side hustle onto your full-time job. So if you found value in this video, again, I appreciate if you can smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. So tip number 4 is collaborating with other side hustlers. Collaborate with other people that's also struggling to grow a side hustle business. There's nothing more inspiring than to be in a group or a Facebook group to see a bunch of people going through the same struggles. It helped me remember exactly what type of struggles that I'm going through, that I'm not the only one doing it. So collaborating and joining groups, being part of a community of other side hustlers after you figured out what is that thing that you wanted to do. That's what I did. So after I figured out, okay, this is going to be the t-shirt thing that I want to do, I started to just be a part of that t-shirt community. I started to be in groups. I watched a whole bunch of content around t-shirts. I started reaching out to other t-shirt people that's already in the game. I spent a lot of time really investing into the knowledge after I had focused in. Okay, so tip number 4 here is to collaborate with other side hustlers. Talk to other people that's doing the same old thing, that's having the same struggles, so you're not overwhelmed by all the struggles. So before we get to the tip number 5, which I found to be the biggest thing that took us from the side hustle to where we're at now, hit the thumbs up if you're finding value to this video, and leave a comment. Let me know in the comments below which tips so far you have found to be valuable. So tip number 5 is to save. Save everything that you get. Save and invest back into the side hustle. All right, it is important for you to not take whatever amount of money you have made in the side hustle. It is very important for you to save that into some type of account, okay? Or else when it comes time to really jump out there, you're not going to have the finances that you need to take your side hustle into your full time. Okay, so instead of spending that money that you have made to get the new iPhone, the new iWatch, get them brand new Jordans, get that fancy flashy ride, whatever the case is that you're spending money on these days to impress the other people, you're wasting your time. Save that money and invest it back into your business, because you're going to need better equipment. You're going to need to expand your business. You don't know where it's going to be when you take this thing into your full-time job. So I encourage you to save every single dollar that you made. Put it into an account and watch that thing build little by little. So within some time, you just keep watching it, maybe like 6 months, and you see that you already have enough saved. Your savings has built up, and then you can try to make the decision on when the time is right, because you are now able to sustain yourself with this side hustle that you got. Again, those were 5 tips that we use to take our side hustle into our full-time business.